Disney are doing a live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, and I think I know why.
Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
There's no way modern Disney could listen to that and not think, I want to see that on the big screen with real people. But I'm not even against the idea of a live-action remake in principle. I think it could answer some great questions for us. Like, why does someone at the bottom of the ocean need protection from ultraviolet light? I mean, I just don't know how that happens underwater. For a long time, people have been debating over evolution versus intelligent design, and Disney are just proving that moronic design is still a very possible third way, although it does tend to sort itself out in the end. The thing is, I'm not attached to Little Mermaid. I don't think I was its target audience. But also, I don't like musicals in the first place. But this movie has turned into a great example of the battleground and what the difference is between the two sides in the first place. Because the one thing that nobody's talking about this movie is the quality of it. When people talk about how they love it, how they cried when I was watching it, what was it about it that you liked? Was it the story intrigued you? Was there something about the characters? Was it that you were going to see a cartoon from your childhood represented with one-to-one accuracy on the big screen with live actors? No. In fact, in 5 reasons why you should watch the Little Mermaid trailer, we find that the remake has done right because the 1989 animation lacked messaging in its imagery, and this one has decided to show up and represent the world we live in. I don't know what world you live in, mate, but I don't have mermaids in mine. And they actually come out and point blank say it with the line, "Nothing can quite describe the feeling of seeing history being rewritten." The people who want to rewrite history, never the good guys really, are they? And that's my position on The Little Mermaid. I have no attachment to that thing at all. But it should be The Little Mermaid, and if you want to put it on the live screen, then you should preserve it for what it was. And that is not what this movie is doing. In fact, my favourite scene from the trailer is the first one. Largely because it's so terribly shot, you can't see anything. Maybe that explains the change to The Little Mermaid, as we can see in the posters, she does seem to have found the one beam of sunlight which manages to reach the bottom of the ocean in the first place. But I think we have to look into the reaction from the trailer from both sides, because a lot of money is resting on this movie. That's probably why they decided to advertise it at the Oscars. Disney was celebrating its 100th anniversary this year, and so got a featurette during the ceremony. But really, they were just adverts for Little Mermaid, and I'm sure the 10 people that watch the Oscars will definitely push you across the line to profitability. Because the general majority reaction to the trailer, it wasn't good, was it? 81,000 upvotes to 330,000 downvotes. It hit number 4 on trending, and people still hated it. And if you look at the comments, I love the part when Ariel sang, "Just keep swimming, just keep swimming." In episode 4, where Darth Vader turned up, it's not about friends, it's about family. And this kind of attitude just goes on. It doesn't matter how long you scroll, it's all the same stuff. Just scroll to a random point, wait for it to refresh, what does it say? The part where Ariel says, "I'm going to be king of the pirates," sent shivers. All the people are unifying simply under one message. This isn't The Little Mermaid. We know what you're doing. You're changing it, you're rewriting it, and you're making a new IP just with the brand name stuck on so that you can apply it to the modern world, the world we live in. And it's not even controversial, because on the one side, you've got a load of people saying you're changing this, and on the other, they say we're changing this, and that's a good thing. And this attitude in the comments, it's not rare or one-off. Even in foreign languages, you can pick out the same layout of comment, even though you have no idea what it means. Except for maybe the end that goes, "Yes, my emotions," or something like that. I love the part where the Little Mermaid tells the prince, "Let's play canoeing." It was really emotional. It doesn't matter where in the world people come from or what language they speak. All they want is for the Little Mermaid to be the Little Mermaid. And they recognize this isn't it. That's why you can go to anywhere which is hosting this trailer. Take the Canadian version, for instance. 4.3k upvotes and 15k downvote, where the comments are exactly the same. You don't go out for a job dressed like that, do you? Had me literally crying and shaking for hours. I love the part when Sebastion said, "Free the Kraken." It gave me goosebumps. Because in this brave new world where people are lauded for going around rewriting history, turns out that Little Mermaid wasn't the only thing that changed. No, they got the crab as well. Poor old Sebastion went in looking like this and got transformed into this. I don't know about a glow up, it looks like Sebastion hit the wall at record speed. But of course, when people from around the world are unified against you, and your cultural destruction of things which turn them into the people they are, there's really one tactic that you can do. Projection. I mean, this is a person who apparently goes around the world just expecting people not to like her, loves to talk about her community as if she's a collective and not an individual, and thinks that someone's ability to tan is an incredibly important thing. She thinks it's a really big deal that everybody has to see her on the screen, rather than what the original source material was. That when she gets to act in movies, it will make little girls know that they're special and make them feel like a princess just because she got paid some money to do an actress role. It's amazing. I have no idea what's going on in this picture, but it makes you look like you've fallen down a flight of stairs and have broken both your hip bones. It's not a designer I'd use twice, gotta be honest. She keeps talking about how you don't understand what it's like for us, as if she's a plural person, and how loads of other people will find it really inspiring because they get to see her. And if she'd had someone as amazing as her to appear on a screen, it would have really changed her confidence. There's a great little mix in there, a desperate need for attention in order to have any kind of sense of self-worth, the grandiose, egotistical, entitled attitude that the world revolves around you, and just by your mere presence, people will be inspired and you're going to change the course of history. And of course, as ever in these things, the one core foundation, that you must hire me, I must have that role. And you, by increasing my bank balance, will actively improve the world. You're essentially not only putting yourself forward as a victim, but as a charity case. If you want to feel like a good moral person that's helping the future of humanity, then you definitely need to give money to me. And if you can underpin all that by projecting the fact that you're a discriminatory bigot onto everybody else, I guess that's just an added bonus. At no point has she ever considered that if she goes around the world and everyone dislikes her, it might be her fault. Although it is funny that everyone's like, no, I don't care about it. And she's going, well, I do. I care about it. I don't know, it's just if she keeps saying she's a bigot, I'm going to believe her. But there were some out there who realize you can't go around the world blaming other people for your own insecurities. And they actually decided to put a different spin on it and tell people what they actually enjoyed about the movie. Although I'm not sure how much they strengthened the argument when they came out and said, Ursula is the new mummy. Apparently the internet has fallen in love with her, calling her their new mummy. Similar to The Mandalorian and The Last of Us star Pedro Pascal's daddy moniker, mommy is an affectionate term given to someone who portrays themselves or their characters as confident and attractive. I'm not sure that's exactly the definition I would have used, but, you know, it's what CBR's trying to spin it as. Even though she is the villain of The Little Mermaid, they cannot get enough of her bold persona and are ready to be her poor, unfortunate souls. And I have to say, this whole villain thing really says something about the present day, because it's not the first time it happens a lot. For instance, there was Pennywise the Clown from It is actually hot, according to the internet. I mean, come on, you've got to raise your standards at some point, surely. Although I should say I'm surprised that I missed that this was going to happen on the internet when someone pointed out, yeah, she was using her tentacles. I never predicted that response, but I know the internet well enough that I probably should have done. And then, in all of its cringe glory, we get the ultimate mask off. What are the 5 reasons everyone should watch the Little Mermaid trailer? Disney was built on a belief that all dreams can come true. And what better way to prove that than with a black Disney princess? A better way to prove that dreams can come true. And you've got, like, world peace, curing world hunger, no disease, colonizing space. But no, you think the best way is to give the Little Mermaid a tan, do you? Okay. Nothing can quite describe the feeling of seeing history being rewritten, which is universally renowned to be an evil act. But the author thinks the problem with the 1989 animation was that it lacked the correct messaging and imagery, and that the remake actually improves on this because it's changed that imagery. It's done it right. It's added the correct messaging into the movie. Now, this article is written by someone who I'm not going to do them the disservice of trying to badly pronounce their name, but they do consider themselves to be a global citizen and are part of this website's team in South Africa. And it seems like the foundation of the 5 reasons why you should watch this trailer in the first place, because the 1989 animation was part of the culture and heritage of one place, whereas now Disney have done it right because it reflects the world. That's why they think it's an incredible thing that we've got loads of people from different cultures to actually get involved in the movie. We'll briefly mention talent and just go, well, it's a coincidence that the talent just happens to be in these actors. But talent isn't the headline or the point you are making. At no point do they mention talented actors. No, it's just great that people are varied. Why? Don't know. Is in it. Next, we've got a story about unity, not love. The original animated movie had a line where he says, "But Dad, I love him." And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with love. The problem is that this creates a fallacy that women exist only to be with men, and their decisions and hopes and dreams revolve around men. This is a fallacy that Disney have ran with for an embarrassingly long time. Yeah, you know all those Disney movies that literally built the company from the ground up? Actually, they're all wrong fundamentally from a messaging perspective. It's not that maybe they were successful because they spoke to people, resonated with humanity on a base emotional level. No, don't you understand that was wrong? We have to replace it. And we have, so that instead of loving a man, she stands up against prejudice and discrimination. Triton says, he's a human, you're a mermaid. To which Ariel responds, yes, but that doesn't make us enemies. She doesn't love him anymore, no, now. She's not a bigot. And to the author, that's a much better reason for rescuing Eric. Not because she loves him or she's curious about this new world out there that she's not seen before, you know, the foundation of the movie. No, it's because she's standing up against prejudice and discrimination. Because that'll really make the prince fall for her, won't it? No man wants a woman who's in love with him. No, what really makes him go weak at the knees is activism. And you better not think that he's going to engage in his masculine protective instincts. No, not in this movie. Because in this, the woman doesn't need saving. Actually, it's the opposite. It opens by the prince needing to be saved by Ariel. Now, of course, this is something carried on from the animated movie, but we want to savor it. Because it's still too rare in movies that men show they need to be saved by women. Too rare, you say? Can't imagine of any other example just off the top of my head where that happens.
On your knees. Chop it off. Let's do it.
Oh, we got him now!
You know what? I'm thinking they're probably sharper stairs somewhere else.
Don't you think it's interesting, though? Right at the start of this article, it was all about rewriting history. How, I know it was made by your culture over there, but I'm over here, and I need to colonize it, so I'm in it, because I think I'm more important than you. You need to change your culture and your messaging for my culture and my messaging. Right up until we get something we agree with, and now suddenly you can keep that. Don't worry, you don't need to change that bit. I like that bit. This symbolism shows that women are not always in need of saving, and are actually strong enough to lift themselves and a drowning prince out of whatever trouble they may face. Yes, if you're a fish, hey, I'm not an unreasonable man. I'm more than willing to admit that if I'm drowning in water, someone very equipped to save me is a woman with a flipper instead of legs. I'm not too proud to admit it. The fourth reason you should watch the trailer is because life beneath the ocean is celebrated. It's important that we see the ocean to actually be beautiful, because after all, the damage that we're causing to it through our human footprints on this planet need to be remembered. We need to see the beauty so we can aptly call for its protection. Are you getting an idea now of why they had a problem with the original animation lacking messaging? And why they think this one is so much better and does it right? Because it includes all of the things they like, all of the messaging they like, because it's no longer about entertainment, it's about the message. Oh, and just in case you thought you were going to struggle about that one, there is a problem. This is an article at 5 reasons why you should see the trailer. The first one was about how well you can tan. And the fifth one is, well, that's also about how well you can tan as well. We're not getting over this in one point, and neither should you. It's just that important. Don't you understand that I'm so egotistical and self-absorbed that if I don't see myself on the screen, then I don't know how I'm going to cope? In Hollywood, there's often depictions of people like me struggling. I mean, that might be because all the Hollywood actors themselves keep saying about how much they're struggling because they want to use that as a battering ram in order to get more roles so they get more money. If you take away their victimhood from them, then you also take away their weapon. So they actually probably wouldn't appreciate you coming along going, actually, who struggles in Hollywood? These people aren't struggling. The Little Mermaid didn't show any topics especially new, but it did distill down those topics into a very condensed reaction. Because everybody has seen this so often, we know what to expect. And none of the old tactics are working anymore. People dislike the trailer because they know what you're doing. The attacks on the fans didn't work because why would anyone care about the opinions of racists in Hollywood? And all anybody wanted was the source material. They liked The Little Mermaid. It made up an important part of their heritage and their culture, and they wanted to preserve that. And the two sides only differed on one point. Reaction of, this isn't The Little Mermaid, stop destroying my history. And the other side said, we are destroying your history, and that's a good thing. Because the more Disney does this, the more they go back and destroy culture and heritage, the more normalized it becomes, the more confident that people like Disney become, and the more mask off they tend to be about it. To the point where they will keep burning piles of money, specifically so they can rewrite and destroy that history. It's just going to be interesting to see in the future what happens. Are you going to burn all of your IPs, or all of your money first? I can't wait to find out. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. More videos like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.